Good evening, everybody. It is Wednesday, March 8th, 2023. It is 6:25 in the evening. Okay. This is part 3, the introduction to the brothers Karamazov. I have quoted at length from this extraordinary letter not only for its own sake, but because certain qualities of its spirit and even some of its words were to reappear 30 years later in the speeches of Dmitri Karamazov, and because it expresses so clearly the irrational value of life and the purifying effect of suffering, central themes of Dostoevsky's later work, which he knew first of all from experience. The actual sentence he received was 8 years of penal servitude, which the emperor reduced to 4 years, followed by exile into the ranks. It was 10 years before Dostoevsky was granted permission to return to Petersburg. Conditions in the prison of Omsk where he served the first part of his sentence were much worse. As we know from his letters, then he described them in the fictionalized Notes from a Dead House, 1860. These were years of terrible solitude for him, but also of self-judgment and the beginnings of a spiritual regeneration. On leaving prison, he wrote to N.D. von Wisnia, the wife of a political exile who had given him a copy of the Gospels. Not because you are religious, but because I myself have experienced and felt it keenly. I will tell you that in such moments one thirsts like parched grass for faith and finds it precisely because truth shines in misfortune. I will tell you regarding myself that I am a child of the age, a child of non-belief and doubt up till now, and even I know it until my coffin closes. What terrible torments this thirst to believe has cost me and still costs me, becoming stronger in my soul the more there is in me of contrary reasonings, and yet sometimes God sends me moments in which I am utterly at peace. The coexistence of faith and unbelief indeed remained with Dostoevsky all his life. Its final artistic expression appears in the brothers Karamazov, in the opposed figures of the elder Zosima and the Grand Inquisitor. Dostoevsky met the Christ of the Gospels in the prison of Omsk. He also met there a young man named Ilinsky, who was serving a 20-year sentence of parricide. He described him in Notes from a Dead House. All the time that I lived with him, he was in the most excellent, in the most cheerful frame of mind. This was a flighty, light-headed individual, irresponsible in the highest degree, although by no means a fool. I never noticed any particular cruelty in him. He did not believe Ilinsky was guilty of the crime. Later, he learned that the man had been cleared after serving 10 years of his sentence. The story of this life, already ruined in the time of its youth under such a terrible sentence, eventually became the subject of the brothers Karamazov, or, as the narrator of the novel says, the external side of it. This brief account of 2 moments from Dostoevsky's life may be enough to suggest that he knew the extremes of Russian society, its unresolved conflicts, as no other writer could have known them. He knew them objectively, and he also knew them within himself. Far from resolving these conflicts in some higher synthesis, in his later work, he expanded and deepened them, transforming them finally into a universal human drama. Okay. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching.